Have you ever pondered why some individuals grow increasingly isolated as they age, while others remain enveloped in love and companionship? It's not merely a matter of wrinkles or a slower pace. As we advance in years, we all adopt habits, subtle, stealthy ones that can silently repel others, strain relationships, and complicate life unnecessarily. The most alarming aspect: many of us don't even notice these patterns until the damage is done. But here's the silver lining: you can break free from them. And this video will guide you through the process. We're delving into the unspoken, ugly habits that infiltrate your life, eroding your happiness, health, and bonds with those around you. You'll hear about Julie, a 71-year-old retired librarian, whose experience lays bare how these habits took root, and how she reclaimed her life. Why watch to the end? We're exposing 9 unexpected pitfalls that might be impacting you or a loved one right now, along with straightforward, actionable solutions to escape them. Number 7 will catch you off guard. It's the one most overlooked until it's exacted a steep price. By the conclusion, you'll face a challenge that could reshape your life starting today. Stay tuned to learn how to detect these habits before they dominate, how to mend ties you thought were beyond repair, and how to age with intention rather than remorse. If you've ever felt detached, trapped, or simply curious about what's holding you back, this is for you. Hit the like button, subscribe, and let's dive in, because the longer you delay, the tougher change becomes. If you're not yet subscribed, I suggest doing so and turning on the notification bell to catch every video. Your support means everything to me. If this video strikes a chord, please like and share it to help me keep sharing these vital lessons. Found the topic engaging? Comment 1 below. If it didn't resonate, drop a 0, so I can refine my approach for you. Now, let's get started. Number 1. Slipping into negativity or criticism. Sarah never pictured herself as someone who'd harbor a bitter outlook. She always saw herself as forthright, merely voicing honest thoughts to those around her. But as time marched on, something began to shift. It started small: a quiet sigh here, a brief grumble there, barely noticeable at first. Soon, though, it hardened into a habit she couldn't shake. Mornings greeted her with the usual aches of aging, and she'd mutter about the toll of growing older. Just a harmless complaint, she thought. Yet, it didn't stop there. It seeped into her days. Watching the news, her irritation swelled with each story, a mix of helplessness and anger bubbling up at the world's chaos. When chatting with younger relatives, her tone sharpened. "In my day, we had more respect," she'd snap, eyes rolling, as if the younger generation had personally let her down. Initially, she didn't see the ripple effect on her relationships. It felt like nothing more than candid opinions, innocent enough, right? But gradually, conversations dwindled. Friends sidestepped deeper discussions, dodging subjects they knew would spark another tirade. Even her grandchildren, once excited to see her, started finding reasons to stay away. Sarah didn't realize then how her negativity was quietly draining those around her. No matter how valid her frustrations seemed, people don't leave a chat feeling uplifted when it's laced with gloom. The truth is, negativity weighs heavily, pushing others away instead of drawing them near. It's a slow creep, unnoticed until the distance grows too wide to ignore, a lesson Sarah learned only after the silence settled in. The truth is, it's all too easy to fall into a cycle of criticism. Life can feel chaotic, the world shifts around us, especially when things stop making sense or feel unfamiliar. Our bodies don't work like they once did. Tasks that used to be effortless, grocery shopping, driving, or mastering a smartphone, turn into sources of irritation. Venting might seem like a relief, a way to let off steam. But when negativity becomes your go-to response, it morphs into a barrier. Instead of helping you process emotions, it isolates you, pushing people away rather than drawing them closer. So, how do you break this pattern? Start by weaving positivity into your conversations. Rather than opening with grievances, Try leading with something uplifting. "I felt great waking up today," or "last night's sunset was stunning," can set a new tone for your day. Positivity is contagious. It pulls people in. Folks naturally gravitate toward those who lift their spirits, not drag them down. When you need to vent, set boundaries. Give yourself a few minutes to air your frustrations, then pivot to something brighter. Swap criticism for curiosity. It's a stronger bridge. Ask questions about what puzzles you. Instead of brushing off your grandkids' interests, like an app or game, try, "Tell me about that." It fosters connection, not distance. When Sarah embraced these tweaks, starting with optimism, engaging with her grandkids' world, and voicing gratitude, she saw a stunning turnaround. Conversations stretched longer, people opened up again, and the warmth of connection, once lost, flooded back. She learned, through trial and error, that the energy you send out boomerangs back. Want closeness? Offer it first. It begins with your words, your presence, and how you choose to view the world. Number 2. Neglecting personal hygiene and appearance. Sarah once reveled in dressing up. She took pride in her look, picking the perfect outfit, applying makeup with care, and styling her hair just right before stepping out. Her wardrobe brimmed with colorful blouses, and her signature scent exuded confidence. But as years passed, something shifted. It began subtly skipping salon visits, trading chic ensembles for loose, comfy clothes. Why bother? She'd muse. She wasn't out to impress anyone anymore. Gradually, she lingered in house clothes all day, barely glancing at the mirror. She told herself it didn't matter, but inside, a change brewed. It wasn't just about others' perceptions, it was about her own self-image. Sarah started noticing how people responded. Strangers, once quick to praise her vibrant style, now passed without a glance. Friends, who used to call her for lunch or a film, dialed less often. Flipping through old photos, she barely recognized the lively woman staring back. Where had that spark gone? What became of the joy and poise she once carried? The realization hit hard. How we present ourselves shapes not just how others see us, but how we feel within. It's not about vanity, it's about self-worth. Caring for your appearance, at any age, is a way of honoring yourself, of feeling at home in your skin, of declaring, "I'm still here, and I matter." This drift didn't happen overnight, but its impact was profound. Sarah's retreat from care mirrored a retreat from life, a slow fade she hadn't intended, yet it wasn't irreversible. Recognizing this opened a door. Small steps, like brushing her hair or slipping into a favorite blouse, could rekindle that lost glow. It's a quiet act of defiance against apathy, a reminder that age doesn't dim your value. For Sarah, and maybe for you, it's about reclaiming that piece of yourself, not for the world, but for the mirror's reflection. How do you turn this around? Begin with small, doable steps. Get dressed, even if you're not heading anywhere fancy. It doesn't need to be high fashion, just clean, well-fitting clothes that feel good and boost your mood. Take a shower, brush your hair, trim your nails. These simple acts whisper a vital truth to yourself. I'm worth this time. Slip into something you enjoy, a piece that sparks joy, and watch your spirit lift. Little touches, like a dab of perfume or a cherished necklace, can shift everything. They tether you to your identity, to the woman you've been and the one you're still shaping. When Sarah recommitted to these habits, styling her hair, donning a favorite blouse, adding a swipe of lipstick, something remarkable unfolded. She felt lighter, more assured, even radiant again. People greeted her with smiles as she entered a room. She was noticed, but more crucially, she recognized herself once more. That vibrant woman she feared had vanished began to re-emerge, not just in others' eyes, but in her own reflection. Number 3. Growing stubborn and resistant to change. If you're still with me and finding value in these insights, please drop a 1 in the comments to let me know you're here. Sarah always took pride in knowing her preferences, sticking to routines that suited her. It was her safe haven. Why tweak what worked for years? But when her kids and grandkids shifted to texting over calling, she balked. I don't need that, she'd insist, brushing off their offers to help. They can call if they want me. Over time, though, those calls dwindled. Family news, photos, and birthday wishes flowed through group chats she ignored. Unwittingly, she was cutting herself off from those she held dear. It wasn't just about tech, it was about staying linked, being part of their world, showing love, yet her inflexibility built walls. The reality, change is unstoppable. Life presses on, and it's natural to resist when it feels like you're being left behind. The key lies in staying open. It's tempting to say, I don't need that, but there's quiet power in, I'll give it a shot. Embracing change, even in small doses, keeps you involved and alert. You don't need mastery overnight. Start small. Let your grandkids show you how to text or share a show they enjoy. Rather than pushing back, lean in. You won't know what you're missing until you do. When Sarah finally let her granddaughter guide her through texting, she was struck by its simplicity. Even more surprising, the wave of connection. She'd overlooked daily snapshots of her great-grandkids, family banter, quick hellos that made her feel included. By shedding her resistance, she gained far more than a skill. She reclaimed closeness. It wasn't just about texting, it was about holding on to the people who mattered. In that shift, she didn't just unlock a new way to communicate. She deepened the love and ties in her life. This journey from stubbornness to openness reshaped Sarah's world. What began as reluctance gave way to curiosity, then connection. It's a reminder. Clinging to old ways can quietly distance you, while a willingness to adapt pulls you closer. For Sarah, a single yes to change unlocked a flood of moments she'd nearly lost. It's not about abandoning who you are, it's about growing into who you can still be. Age doesn't dictate isolation, our choices do. By meeting change halfway, you keep the door open to love, laughter, and belonging, proving it's never too late to bridge the gap. Number 4. Hoarding and clinging to clutter. Sarah had always been a sentimental soul. Every object in her home carried a tale, a memory, a fragment of history she couldn't bear to release. Old birthday cards, unseen for decades, yellowed in drawers. Stacks of newspapers, promising a future read, teetered in corners. Clothes, unworn for years, hung in closets just in case. Her once cozy haven, a retreat of calm, had morphed into a chaotic labyrinth of stuff crowding every nook, shelf, and room. She couldn't ignore it any longer. What was once a sanctuary now felt like a war zone, brimming with items she rarely used yet couldn't part with. At first, Sarah saw no issue. She told herself each piece held worth. I might need it someday, she'd say, finding comfort in the thought. It felt secure, even soothing, to hold on. But the truth crept in. The mounting clutter was choking the life from her home, her tranquility, and her spirit. Over time, she grew weary simply trying to tidy or weave through the mess. Maintaining order became a struggle, locating essentials a chore, and welcoming guests felt humiliating amid the chaos. Her once warm space now mirrored her entrapment in the past, a refusal to shed what no longer served her. When her daughter softly suggested, maybe let go of a few things, Sarah bristled. What if I need them later? She shot back, clinging tighter. Yet, the clutter didn't just crowd her home, it invaded her mind. The strain of grasping so much weighed her down, dimming present joys, and fogging her peace. It wasn't merely about objects, it was the emotional load they carried. Letting go is tough when each item feels tied to your heart. But here's the reality. Clutching too tightly to possessions or past wounds anchors you in yesterday, stalling progress, stealing clarity. It's a quiet bandit, draining peace of mind. Sarah came to see that freedom required release. Decluttering doesn't happen overnight. It demands patience, self-compassion, and the bravery to admit you don't need it all. Where do you start amid the overwhelm? Take it slow. Focus on one drawer, one shelf, one box at a time. The idea of purging everything can paralyze, but small steps feel doable. Ask, do I use this? Does it spark joy? If not, it's time to part ways. Donate what others might value, recycle the obsolete, or gift meaningful pieces to family who'll treasure them. Make decluttering routine a daily ritual. Aim small, shed one item each day. This steady effort can spark deep change over time. There's a practical side, too. Clutter isn't just a mental burden. It's a hazard. It heightens risks, falls, accidents, injuries. A home should be more than a dwelling. It should offer safety, ease, peace. When Sarah finally dove in, magic unfolded. The burden lifted, and the shift wasn't just physical. She donated unworn clothes, recycled dusty magazines, and rearranged her space to highlight what mattered. For the first time in years, peace settled in. Her home wasn't just tidier, it glowed with light and warmth. She felt unshackled, liberated by letting the past go to embrace the now. Best of all, she rediscovered the thrill of hosting friends, a joy long buried. Sarah's journey shows how clutter can trap us physically, emotionally, mentally. Each kept item was a tether to what was, not what could be. Releasing them didn't erase memories, it cleared space for new ones. That first step, one box sorted, snowballed into a lighter life. Her home became a reflection of renewal, not regret. Friends returned, drawn by the openness she'd reclaimed. It's a lesson for us all. Holding on can cost more than letting go. Small, brave choices, discarding what weighs us down, unlock freedom, safety, and connection, proving the past needn't dictate the present. Number 5. Losing patience with others too readily. Sarah never saw herself as impatient. She'd always strived to be compassionate, empathetic, and forgiving. Yet, as years passed, she noticed fissures in her calm, brief sparks of annoyance that erupted before she could rein them in. One day, at the grocery store, she stood in line, cart brimming. The young cashier moved slowly, fumbling with bags, and irritation swelled inside her. Why is he so sluggish? Can't he pick up the pace? She muttered inwardly, her temper flaring. Then, it slipped out. Come on, can you hurry up? Instantly, she saw the cashier's face drop. He averted his eyes, hands shaking as he pressed on. It struck her like a jolt. This was a novice, anxious, trying hard, and she'd lashed out as if he were to blame for her tension. Guilt washed over her. Was she turning into someone she'd once disapproved of, quick to criticize, swift to snap, slow to extend kindness? The weight of that question sank deep. Aging can erode patience, life slows, and it's maddening when the world doesn't match our rhythm. But impatience doesn't just burden others, it drags us down too. It spikes stress, muddies our thoughts, and sours our exchanges. So, how do we hold on to patience and grace when everything feels sluggish? Start simply. Pause before you react. When annoyance stirs, inhale deeply. Is this worth the upset? Consider that the dawdling driver might be a grandparent, the fumbling cashier a student giving their all. A dash of patience stretches far. Next time frustration brews, reframe it. Swap a snap for a smile, a gentle take your time, or a kind word. Sarah tried this. Spotting that same cashier later, she grinned, praised his efforts, and said he was doing great. His face brightened, and she saw the quiet power of kindness. It takes little to lift someone, a gift that eases their load and hours. Patience reduces stress, fosters better connections, and calms the soul. Number 6. Over-talking and under-listening. Sarah adored talking. She had a treasure trove of tales, wisdom to impart, and memories to recount. She'd earned her family title as the storyteller. But there was a hitch. She didn't see how much she monopolized chats. One day, her daughter, who'd been calling less, spoke up. "Mom, I love our talks, but I don't feel heard," she admitted. "It's always about you, and I can't share what's on my mind." Sarah was floored. How had she missed this? Reflecting, she saw it. Every call. She'd leap in with her own anecdotes and advice, rarely pausing to listen. She'd been so eager to share that she'd overlooked her daughter's need to be heard. She was speaking, not listening. This shift crept up subtly. Sarah's love for storytelling, once a strength, had tipped into a flaw. Her daughter's words stung, because they rang true. She'd filled the air without leaving room for others. It wasn't intentional, just a habit grown and checked, but it cost her. Calls grew shorter, connections thinned, all because she hadn't balanced speaking with silence. Realizing this, Sarah faced a choice: keep dominating or start hearing. Listening, she learned, isn't passive, it's active, a way to honor others. It builds bridges where talking alone can build walls. For Sarah, and maybe for you, patience and listening intertwine. Both demand slowing down, whether it's holding your tongue in a checkout line or letting a loved one finish a thought. They're acts of presence, proving you value others as much as yourself. Sarah's grocery store moment and her daughter's honesty were wake-up calls. Small adjustments, a breath before barking, a pause to hear, rebuilt what impatience and over-talking had chipped away. These habits, left unchecked, distance us. Tamed, they draw us near, softening life's edges with understanding and care. As we age, it's tempting to believe we've mastered life's lessons. We yearn to pass on the wisdom we've gathered through the years, to share what experience has taught us. Yet, if we don't pause to listen, truly hear those we cherish, we risk driving them away. Sarah faced this hard truth. In her eagerness to impart, she'd unwittingly distanced herself from her dearest ones. The secret to richer dialogue lies in balance, not just speaking, but listening. After holding the floor, stop and ask, what about you? How's life been treating you? Show real curiosity about their words. Fight the impulse to cut in, even with a tale itching to be told. Let them breathe, let them speak. Pose questions that spark depth, like, what's something thrilling from your week? Instead of a bland, how are you? When Sarah next chatted with her daughter, she shifted gears. She asked more, gave space, and held back advice unless it was sought. The payoff was stunning. Their talks grew longer, cozier, more heartfelt. She discovered that great conversations don't hinge on talking more, but on listening well. In that quiet act, she rekindled the magic of closeness. Number 7. Pushing people away rather than seeking help. If you're still here and finding these insights valuable, please drop a 2 in the comments to let me know. Sarah had long defined herself by fierce independence. It was her core, her rhythm. For decades, she'd poured love into raising kids, running a lively home, and aiding neighbors in need. Being the rock others leaned on felt right. But time shifted the ground beneath her. Tasks once breezy turned daunting. One day, unloading groceries, she wrestled with a heavy bag, arms quaking. A passerby, a young man with a warm smile, noticed. Need a hand, he offered. Pride stiffened her spine. No, thanks. I've got it, she replied. Forcing a grin, she didn't. Hauling the bag inside, her back throbbed, and the tide of frustration and loneliness surged. Each step grew heavier, not just from the load, but from the sting of spurning kindness. She'd brushed off someone who'd seen her strain and wanted to lighten it. In that instant, solitude hit harder than ever. Later, alone in the stillness, a sharp truth pierced through. Refusing help wasn't fortifying her, it was fraying the ties that once buoyed her. She was picking isolation over unity, self-reliance over shared strength. This moment laid bare a pattern. Sarah's independence, once a badge of honor, had morphed into a wall. She'd cared for others tirelessly, yet recoiled when the roles reversed. That grocery bag wasn't just heavy, it was a mirror, reflecting how her pride widened the gap between her and the world. Rejecting help didn't prove strength, it deepened her aloneness. Realizing this, she saw a choice: keep pushing away or let others in. Accepting a hand, she'd learn, isn't weakness, it's a bridge back to connection. For Sarah, and perhaps for us, listening and accepting help akin. Both demand humility, a willingness to step back, to lean on others. Her daughters call for space, and the strangers offer taught her this. Small shifts, asking instead of telling, saying yes instead of no, mended what isolation had torn. These habits, unchecked, build solitude. Tamed, they weave belonging. Patience to hear, courage to receive these soften life's edges, reminding us we're not meant to go it alone. Sarah's story whispers, connection thrives not in what we cling to, but in what we share and accept. Why is asking for help a mark of strength, not frailty? It doesn't label you a burden, it opens a door for others to express care, to share their love and support. People want to assist, but if you keep pushing them away, they'll eventually stop reaching out. When that happens, you're left not just physically strained, but emotionally hollow. Accepting help weaves bonds. It forges links between souls, sparking moments of shared humanity that transcend the task itself. Whether it's a held door, a lifted load, or a listening ear, letting others step in lightens your load physically and emotionally. It's a nudge that we're not built to toil solo. Plus, when you let others feel needed, you're handing them a gift. Imagine a world where no one sought your aid, you'd feel sidelined, unvalued. So why rob others of the chance to matter to you? Sarah saw she had to shift. She vowed to ditch pride. Next time help came her way, she'd say yes. Spotting that young man at the store again, she flashed a genuine smile and said, "Actually, I could use some help today." His face glowed as he took the bag, and Sarah felt a release not just from her shoulders, but from her core. In that fleeting moment, something clicked. She felt visible, appreciated, and, above all, linked. Have you ever hesitated to seek help, or savored the lift of giving it? It's a grounding reminder we're all in this dance together. Letting others in is more than okay. It's human. Number 8. Being too thrifty to save a life. Sarah epitomized fiscal caution, a budgeting maestro. She snipped coupons eagerly, bypassed vacations without a second thought, and mulled over every non-essential buy. With a tidy nest egg, she still fretted, what if I need this later? What if the unexpected strikes? It was a loop of save, 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 but for what? What good was wealth if it didn't fuel the life she envisioned? Then, her friend Emily pitched a weekend countryside escape. It'll be a blast, Sarah, she urged, voice brimming with zeal. We'll wander, eat well, unwind. Sarah's gut said no. Travel cost cash, dining out cost cash, every bit stoked her unease. What if I rue spending it? Yet, a faint inner voice countered, when did I last spoil myself? She'd banked on someday, but facing Emily's invite, she wondered, what if someday never arrives? Why save if I'm not living now? Why does spending to enjoy matter? Fiscal duty counts, sure, but life isn't just about hoarding coins, it's about thriving. Experiences, trips, outings, passions yield joy that outlasts any trinket. Research backs this. Money spent on living etches memories that endure, while gadgets and garb fade fast. Sarah toiled lifelong for this cushion, this safety, but safety without joy is a shell. Balance is the trick. Relishing your earnings doesn't cheapen your work, it celebrates it. Sarah's thrift had roots, prudence kept her secure. But it morphed into a trap, locking joy behind what-ifs. Emily's call was a wake-up. Life's ticking, and savings alone don't fill it. Saying yes to that trip wasn't reckless, it was reclaiming what she'd earned. A meal shared, a view soaked in, these aren't wastes. They're investments in living. Sarah learned late what studies affirm. Experiences trump stuff. Her shift wasn't about squandering it was about savoring, proving you can be wise with money and still feast on life's richness. For her, and maybe you, it's a nudge. Don't just store for tomorrow, taste today too. So, how could Sarah shift this pattern? She resolved to grant herself permission to spend, to savor life's small delights. Be it a meal out, a new hobby, or a weekend escape, she committed to chasing experiences that fed her spirit. She even created a fund, a dedicated stash just for Joy. When Emily pitched the countryside trip again, Sarah didn't waver. She said yes, and the impact was profound. Over those 2 days, she laughed more than she had in months. The sun warmed her skin, good food paired with great company sparked delight, and above all, she rediscovered what it meant to live fully. Watching the sunset with Emily, it clicked. This the moments, the memories, the bonds was what her savings were for. Money should fuel happiness, not just gather dust in an account. What have you delayed for the sake of frugality? Life doesn't pause for readiness. The moment is now. Number 9. Talking down to younger generations. Sarah cherished her grandson, Noah. His visits lit up her week. She relished his tales of school, hobbies, and his fervor for video games. Lately, though, those moments felt off-stilted, strained. Noah seemed less chatty, more glued to his phone than engaged with her. One day, he bubbled about a new app. Without a beat, Sarah sighed, shaking her head. In my day, we didn't rely on tech. Kids played outside, not on screens all day. Noah fell silent. Soon after, he muttered, I should head out, and left. As the door clicked shut, regret pierced her. She hadn't meant to distance him, but her words intended as wisdom had brushed him off, leaving him unheard. In trying to bond, she'd erected a barrier. Why does belittling younger generations drive them away? It's tempting to cling to nostalgia, to tout the good old days, but harping on how things were better back then can make youth feel their lives and struggles don't count. It sows division, not unity. Each generation wrestles with its own trials, and rather than faulting them, we should bolster them with support and warmth. How could Sarah adjust? Next time Noah shared something fresh, she inhaled and said, That sounds cool. Tell me more. She swapped judgment for curiosity, striving to grasp his world, asking questions that showed she cared. When he detailed his gaming tactics, magic unfolded. They clicked not through critique, but through respect. Their talk flowed, and for the first time in ages, they shared true closeness. What about you? Ever found it hard to connect with younger folks? What eased the rift? Often, it's less about fixing them and more about meeting them where they stand, seeing through their lens, joining their journey. Sarah's shift with Noah mirrored her earlier awakening with spending. Both stemmed from letting go whether of old biases or tight purse strings. Her thrift had caged joy, her lectures had caged connection. Saying yes to Emily's trip and to Noah's world didn't erase her past, it enriched her present. That sunset wasn't just scenery. It was a reward for living now. Noah's grin wasn't just relief. It was trust rebuilt. Small pivots, spending a bit, listening a lot, unlocked what rigidity had blocked. Life's richness lies in balance. Save wisely, but live boldly. Share your story, but here there's two. For Sarah, and maybe you, it's a call to trade what was for what is, finding joy and kinship in the exchange. What's your next yes to a treat or a talk? The chance to thrive waits. Number 10. Clinging to grudges and regrets. Holding on to grudges and regrets is like lugging a heavy load that gradually grinds you down. It's not just a mental strain, it seeps into every part of your life, robbing you of today's happiness and skewing your outlook. Each time you linger on old wounds, you trade the present's beauty for past pain. Ever notice how recalling a betrayal or slight pulls you back into that hurt, dimming the world around you? That's resentment's hold. The tighter you grip those dark memories, the further you drift from the love and light available now. It's tough to face, but bitterness quietly frays bombs. It sneaks in, almost unseen, making it harder to reach those you cherish. Before you know it, that resentment hardens into a barrier, separating you from loved ones. At its worst, it festers into anger, stacking up until your heart feels calloused, leaving you puzzled while loneliness lingers even in company. Then there's the physical toll. Grudges and regrets aren't just emotional, they breed stress that settles in your body. The unrelenting tension can spike your blood pressure, disrupt sleep, even weaken your immunity. You might brush it off, but deep down, you feel its drag. There's no dodging the fallout of clutching past pain. If you're still here and finding these lessons helpful, please leave a 3 in the comments to let me know. So, how do you shed this weight and claim the freedom you crave? Begin by facing a stark reality. The past is fixed. No amount of mental reruns will rewrite it. Rather than stewing in why me, pivot to what can I take from this. This shift loosens the past's chokehold, letting you craft a brighter, healthier tomorrow. Forgiveness is crucial not for the one who wronged you, but for your own sake. Forgiving doesn't mean condoning harm. It means stripping its control over you, unshackling yourself. It's a tough pill, but releasing grudges isn't weakness, it's bravery, a reclaiming of your peace, your life, your core. Redirecting focus takes work. When resentment creeps in, pause, then steer your mind to something good now, a kind word, a warm scene. Try writing it all out, every pent-up hurt, then rip it up, burn it, let it float away. You've earned that release. Sarah's path proves this. 4 years, she hauled the heft of old wounds. One night, pen in hand, she chose to unload. She spilled every regret, every scar onto paper, then, with a steady breath, let them go. Something clicked. For the first time in ages, she felt unburdened, lighter. The load that had pinned her down for years dissolved, freeing her to step ahead. This letting go wasn't instant, it was a deliberate act, a gift to herself. Sarah's paper wasn't just scribbles. It was a bridge from pain to peace. Each grudge she'd nursed had tethered her to yesterday, dimming today. Releasing them didn't erase history, it cleared her lens. That shift echoes for us. Resentment builds walls, but forgiveness tears them down. It's not about them, it's about you, your health, your joy. Small moves like swapping a bitter thought for a grateful one snowball into liberty. Sarah's lighter heart didn't just lift her. It rippled outward, softening ties she'd strained. For you, it's a call. What hurt can you shed today? The freedom waiting is worth the courage it takes. Life's too fleeting to lug old baggage, trade it for the lightness you deserve, and watch the present bloom anew. Number 11. Ignoring health problems. Ignoring health issues might feel like an easy out at first. Who wants to confront the chance something's amiss? Yet, this sidestepping, this refusal to face facts, can turn perilous. Minor symptoms we shrug off often signal deeper trouble. That dizziness you've brushed aside. It might be dehydration or an early stroke warning. That exhaustion you chalk up to aging. It could hint at undiagnosed heart trouble. We tell ourselves it's nothing, that it'll fade, but delaying attention only courts bigger problems later. Untreated small woes balloon into health emergencies. Why do we stall? Why do we convince ourselves it's fine to dismiss what feels off? Perhaps we're too caught up, too focused elsewhere to heed our bodies. Or maybe fear of a grim diagnosis holds us back. But ignoring those red flags doesn't erase them, it amplifies the risk. Prevention beats crisis every time. Simple shifts, better eating, regular movement can dodge major scares. It's a gift of self-care we too often bypass. Sarah learned this the hard way after a fall landed her in the hospital, wincing in pain. She saw how she'd dismissed her health, assuming dizziness was just age creeping in. That tumble, a stark alarm, flipped her view. She vowed never again to overlook subtle cues. She'd tune in, nurture herself, and stop sidelining her well-being. She upped her water intake, joined balance classes, and booked doctor checkups. Owning her health didn't steal her autonomy. It strengthened it, letting her steer clear of worse trouble. Her lesson rings for us all. So, ask yourself, are you tuning out your body's whispers? Don't wait for a crisis. Your health matters too much to ignore. Act now. You deserve a rich, lively life. And that starts with hearing what your body's saying. Later, flipping through photo albums, in a quiet living room, Sarah glimpsed a past brimming with glee, playing with grandkids, twirling at parties, beaming in sunlight. She realized she'd let that spark dim. Life had dulled into a humdrum loop. When Emily pitched a movie night, Sarah wavered, but said yes. That evening, laughter welled up, rekindling something dormant. For the first time in ages, she laughed until her sides ached and tears brummed a soul-soothing bomb. Laughter isn't just play, it's vital. It cuts stress, lifts immunity, boosts blood flow, even sharpens recall. It draws us nearer to others, fortifying ties. As we age, it whispers, we can still feel youthful inside, a prompt to seize life's simple joys. Leaving Emily's, Sarah felt buoyant, grasping that joy isn't stumbled upon, it's chosen. Next morning, she skipped the news, cranked her favorite tunes, and danced in her kitchen. That burst of mirth, that choice to welcome joy, sparked something radiant. It's never too late to choose it yourself. Don't wait for the stars to align, make your moment. Opt for joy. Reflecting on letting go of grudges, tending to health, and chasing joy, what hit home today? Maybe it's forgiveness's might, laughter's healing, or the stark cost of neglecting health cues. What stuck with you? Consider one takeaway to weave into your life. I'd love your thoughts. What's one lesson you'll carry forward? Drop it in the comments. If this video struck a chord, please comment, like, share, and subscribe to our YouTube channel for more insights. Sarah's arc from denial to action, gloom to gleam, era's choices we all face. Her fall wasn't just a stumble, it was a call to care. Her dance wasn't just steps, it was reclaiming life. Grudges weigh us down. Health ignored courts ruin. Joy sidelined dims days, yet each can shift with intent. A checkup, a chuckle, a grudge release, these small acts ripple big. What's your next move? A doctor's visit, a laugh with a friend. The power's yours, and the time's now to claim it.